Entering the urban suite. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about mental health. Let's talk about urban issues plaguing our community with Dr. Lisa LaCON. Let's talk about urban issues plaguing our community with Dr. Lisa LaCON. mental health? Hello, my urbanites. How are you all doing tonight? Oh my goodness, another week. So much has happened throughout the course of this week or last week. Oh, I thank God I'm alive to share it with you, my urbanites. Hello, you have entered into the Urban Suite with Dr. Lisa LaCON. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Tonight we have an awesome show tonight. Oh my gosh. Woo! Lord, this whole week has been loaded with stuff. But tonight we're going to do something a bit different. I am going to change the format of Urban Tools for Change. And I tell you why after we get into this program. But tonight, as always, we are sponsored by Blessed Ministries Incorporated, the premier workforce development agency in the great Garden State of what? New Jersey. Yes. So Blessed Ministries, we are a workforce development agency, and we are located in the state of New Jersey. And what we do, we assist people with employment to get them employed. We work with those under the supervision of parole. We work with those that have adults with disabilities. We work with youth with disabilities. We work with anyone impacted by opioids. Find employment. We have job developers to get you placed. We have case management. We have myself, trainers, work readiness trainers, things of that nature. We do resumes so that you can provide for your family in a meaningful way. So that's what we do. And for more information, let me put this up about Blessed Ministries. Here we go. For more information about Blessed Ministries, you can go to our website at www.bmiworks.org. That's www.bmiworks.org. Also on the website, if you need to catch up with some of the podcasts, you are able to do so on the website. Also, we are sponsored by Got It Today, which is the e-commerce company that we have from sanitary napkins to alkaline water and anything in between for your wellness and recovery, because that's what it's about, wellness and recovery. So if you need information about Got It Today, you can visit the website as well at www.gotit2day.com. Oh, so how's everyone doing today? We've had some, this week or last week, last week and this week has been something. We talked about R. Kelly. He's been found guilty. So from what I know, his team is going to appeal that, but we'll see who's going to lose money and time with that. And then his sentencing is scheduled, I believe, early October. So we're going to keep you abreast of that as well. But tonight, we're talking about, let's see, what is this? Oh, the missing white woman syndrome. We're talking about the missing white woman syndrome. Now, previously, I just said we're going to change things on my platform, on this channel going forward when I have a scheduled show. And I said what I'm going to talk about with you. I said this prior to this whole missing white woman syndrome. And I have to say, anyone that is on Facebook with me personally, my personal page on Facebook, every time someone is missing, I do what? I share it. I share it. And what I do is I tag people who I know live in that area, just in case they may not have seen it. But I share the information. So what I'm going to do differently, I'm going to talk about it later. But anyone that knows me know that if a dog is missing, if a cat is missing, if God forbid someone's child is missing, someone's mother, someone's uncle, someone's aunt, anybody that's missing, anyone that's missing from the urban community, I will share on my Facebook page and then tag someone that I know that lives in the area, just in case. Perfect example. Someone shared with me, her Facebook community, a young lady that was missing from Prince George's County in Maryland. So then I asked the person that shared, can you make this shareable? Because I have to share it. I cannot sit on these things as a mother, as a daughter, as a wife, as a human. If I see something that comes on my thread and it needs to be shared, I definitely share it. Just like the young man, unfortunately, he was found dead not too long ago. I had shared it. And so anyway, tonight we're going to have a deep discussion about this syndrome, this white woman syndrome. But I want you to know, Urbanites, you're going to get the real deal. You're going to get the real deal tonight, because right here, you're going to see where this was first coined. Now, this was first coined in 2004 by the late, great Gwen Ifill. Gwen Ifill, to me, she was such an upright journalist. We don't have many good journalists till this day. We really don't. But just see for yourself and check it out. Hold on for a second, okay?
To other things and not necessarily paying attention to other things and not necessarily focusing on these type of things that need immediate attention. I think at the time when 94 in Rwanda, we were looking at Nancy Kerrigan and Tanya Harding and Wayne Bobbitt. Everybody knows what happened to Bobbitt.
I call it the missing white woman syndrome. If there's a missing white woman, we're going to cover that every day.
It's true. So I think we need to keep our focus on really.
2004, that's what, 17 years ago. And we're still talking about it till this day. 2004, that's when the late, great Gwen Ifill stated that. And that was from a Unity conference. And that was a live broadcast from C-SPAN back in 2004. So you have to look 17 years later and nothing has changed. And guess what? I'm going to tell you why it hasn't changed. And I'm going to tell you why it probably will never change. Are you ready for this? Now, you all, my urbanites, you have to put on your thinking cap. I always say, all right, put on your thinking cap. So I'm going to share something with you what Joy Reid said recently, okay? Now, you have to think 17 years later and nothing has changed. Actually, I think it has gotten worse, in my opinion. I think it's gotten worse. All right, so this is what Joy Reid has said recently. So take a look at this.
But the way this story has captivated the nation has many wondering, why not the same media attention when people of color go missing? Well, the answer actually has a name: missing white woman syndrome, the term coined by the late and great Gwen Ifill to describe the media and public fascination with missing white women like Lacey Peterson or Natalie Holloway, while ignoring cases involving missing people of color. Joining me now is Derica Wilson, co-founder and CEO of the Black and Missing Foundation, and Lynette Gray Bull, founder of Not Our Native Daughters, an organization created for the awareness of the missing, exploited, and murdered Indigenous women and children. Thank you both for being here. You know, I bring up this point because there's a case that's so similar. A journalist friend of mine, Derica, sent me this this story about a young, about some other people that are missing. There's one guy whose name is Daniel Robinson.
Okay, so she says other people who are missing. Well, other Black people who are missing. Again, when Gwen Ifill first coined this term, that was 17 years ago. Are we shocked and surprised by this? All right, let me continue.
Daniel Robinson is a young Black man. He's only 24 years old, 5'8", 165, black hair, brown eyes. That's his description. His dad has hired a private investigator to find him. He's missing part of an arm. He was last seen driving away from his job site in the Buckeye, Arizona desert on June 23rd. And his case struck me because it's very similar. He's missing in the same part of the world. It's a case that it has all of that same kind of sizzle, the sort of mystery of it. This young man who just goes missing. I never heard of it until this friend of mine sent it to me. And I guess that's the issue, isn't it?
It is definitely the issue. And we have been sounding the alarm for nearly 14 years.
Okay. She's been sounding the alarm for nearly 14 years. Sounding the alarm for nearly 14 years for Black people that have been missing. 14 years. That's not like yesterday or last month. That's a long time. 14 years. And still, we are scratching our heads trying to figure out, why isn't mainstream media so focused on this?
Because of this, when it comes to missing persons of color, men, women, and children, our cases are not taken seriously, and no one is looking for us if we were to go missing.
Exactly. No one is looking for us if we go missing, and that is the point. No one is looking for us if we go missing. So why don't they look for us? Well, in my opinion, I'll tell you why. You have two groups of people. You have the party goers. They're in their nice mansions. They're eating and dining with fine china, and they're going to this wonderful party. And then you have those that have never been invited to the party. Those are called the uninvited. So you have two classes of people. You have the party goers and you have the uninvited. So the party goers are like, you know what? I think I need to build a bigger house. Let me get someone here, the help, to build my house, but they'll never be invited to my party. So you take these people, yes, you take these people from where they were, the uninvited, so that they can be the help to help the party goers have a bigger mansion, to help the party goers have a better party, to help the party goers live better. But the party goers look at you as if you're just nothing except the help. You have no value to the party goers except for being the help. So the question that I have for you, my urban knights, is why would the party goers be overly concerned, underly concerned, or concerned at all about what's happening to and with the uninvited? Like, what? I don't get it. Why are we scratching our head and upset with the party goers? That's what the party goers do. That's their MO. That's the MO of the party goers. They have no concern about people that are not invited to their party. When can we start to understand that and stop begging to be invited into their party? They don't want us there. Listen, I know you all have thrown parties, my urban knights, but are you overly underly concerned about those who did not get an invitation to your party? Absolutely not. You're not concerned. You're going to go on with your party. You're going to have fun. And those that didn't get invited, they just didn't get invited. You don't see importance for them to get invited. They don't need to fraternize with your type of people. So this is the problem that I have. The problem that I have is for far too long, the uninvited are trying to weasel their way into the party where you're not invited. You may try to climb through the window. You may try to sneak through the basement. You may try to sneak through the back door, but you are not invited. So if you're not invited, what are you going to do? You're going to riot. You're going to petition. What are you going to do? But I tell you what you can do, just like the brothers at Cornell University back in the early 1900s. Let me give you a little history about Cornell University. So Cornell University, they are an Ivy League university, and it was started by a Jewish man. And Cornell University prides itself on admitting African Americans, women, Jews, things of that nature. But Cornell University was very segregated. You had the Blacks that could not live with and dorm with the whites. It was segregated. You had the Blacks that could not join the same social clubs as the whites. Now, they allowed the Blacks to become admitted into the university. However, they were not allowed the full benefits of the white students. So a group of Black students wanted to join, I believe it was an English club at Cornell University. So Cornell University said, oh, nope, you're here, but you can't join this club. You are here, but you can't live in this dorm. You are here, but that's to the extent of it. So what did the brothers do? And some sisters at the time, they formed their own club. They formed their own organization. And then they later changed it to what we have now, Alpha Phi Alpha, which was founded December 4th, 1906 on the campus of Cornell University. Those brothers knew that they would not be allowed to attend those clubs. Those brothers knew that they were not allowed to attend and fraternize with the whites on campus. They didn't protest. They didn't march. They didn't picket. You know what they did? They started their own club, which later became what you see now as Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity. Now we have, as a result of them not wanting to join the party of the others, we have the Divine Nine. And I think some of that has been lost in our community. We seem to focus so much energy and so much time on trying to be invited to the party, whereas we lose focus on, you know what? Well, maybe we can do this ourselves. Maybe we need to do this ourselves. And guess what? When we work together, we can do this ourselves. So December 4th, 1906 to now, you have 9 Greek organizations as a result of those brothers saying, you know what? I'm not invited to the party. I'm going to have my own. So this is what I want to talk about tonight. I want to talk about sort of like the Joy Reids who believe that they have an invitation to the party. They're sitting there at the party, but they're on that little card table. Remember when you were a child and you weren't allowed to sit at the large dining room table with the aunts, with your uncles, with the matriarchs, the patriarchs of the family, and you were relegated to this little card table, and we couldn't eat on fine china. We had these Dixie cups and the Dixie plates and the plastic cutlery. That's where people like Joy Reid is today. That's like where she is today. Sitting at the little card table. You're in the house at the party, and they're tolerating you, but that's about it. And because of that, they've made your senses dull about what's happening outside of the partygoers' world to the uninvited. So this is my proposal, and this is what I'm going to do. But wait a minute, before I say that, I'm going to share something. This is one of my favorite books, The Miseducation of the Negro. I love this book. I've read this book about 3 times. Carter G. Woodson, I believe he's a Q. And as a result of him being a Q, we have to thank the Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity because, again, they didn't protest. They didn't picket. They didn't riot. They started their own. And they used this to do it. And it was ingenious. They said, you know what? We don't need you. We don't need your services. We don't need your little social club because guess what? We're just as good as you who didn't want us because you didn't want us. And we're going to start our own. Just like the African Methodist Episcopal Church, Richard Allen. He said, you know what? You don't want me to sit in the pew next to you and we're reading the same Bible and you want me to sit in the back? Nope. No, sir. No, sir. I'm not picketing. I'm not rioting. But guess what I'm doing? I'm starting my own. And this is something that Carter G. Woodson talked about. Let me share this with you. I think I've read this book about 3-4 times, maybe 5 times. This says, if you can control a man's thinking, you do not have to worry about his actions. Powerful, okay? If you make a man feel that he is inferior, you do not have to compel him to accept an inferior status, for he will seek it himself. If you make a man think that he is justly an outcast, you do not have to order him to the back door. He will go without being told, and if there is no back door, his very nature will demand one. And that's where we have gotten. That's where we have gotten as a people in the urban community. We're so focused on the partygoers wanting to accept and understand and empathize with our plight. It's never going to happen. Why are we shocked? 17 years later, we're still talking about the same thing. Why is that? Well, we're still talking about the same thing because nothing has changed. Or if it has changed, maybe we have problems, maybe we have issues, but why are we utterly surprised and shocked that the partygoers, they don't want you at their party? You didn't get the invitation. They could care little to nothing about you, okay? And about me. I'm not invited to their party. The partygoers, they own everything. But guess what? In our own little village, in our own little tribe, we can do what we need to do and not rely on the partygoers. Because this is something else that Carter G. Woodson said. Very interesting as well. If the Negro in the ghetto must eternally be fed by the hand that pushes him into the ghetto. Let me read that again. If the Negro in the ghetto must eternally be fed by the hand that pushes him into the ghetto, he will never become strong enough to get out of the ghetto. Look, where's my bill? I need my bill for this one. I need my bill. You hear that? Do you hear that? He said if the Negro in the ghetto must eternally be fed by the hand that pushes him into the ghetto, he will never become strong enough to get out of the ghetto. Yes. We're relying on the party goers to help us. Why are we relying on the party goers to help us? We have no value to the party goers unless we're the help. But guess what? The party goers have found a new group of people that are helping them now. And the uninvited are actually petitioning, in a sense, and encouraging this new group to be the new help for the party goers. So now we really are sliding back. We are really sliding back in the eyes of the party goers because we aren't valued at anything. We're no longer the help. So you actually really think that the media, which in my opinion is controlled by the party goers, is going to focus on the uninvited? Do you focus on the uninvited when you have a party? Answer that question for yourself. Do you focus on the uninvited when you have a party? The answer is no, you do not. I don't even focus on the uninvited. The uninvited, they are an afterthought. They're not welcomed because if they were, you would have invited them. They're not thought of. They're an afterthought. No, seriously, when you think about it, like, you know, if you see something on Facebook and you're like, oh my gosh, they had a birthday party. Why wasn't I invited? Well, because they didn't want you to be invited. If they wanted you to be invited, you would have been invited. So listen else. This is what else he says. This is interesting. Carter G. Woodson. We must show that we can do as well as they. When we can build as well as live in houses, when we can make as well as wear shoes, when we can produce as well as consume wheat, corn, and rye, then we shall become valuable to society. Well, how many shoes are we making? How many cars are we producing? You know, how many houses? How much land do we have? Are we valuable to the party goers? Absolutely not, in my opinion. So tonight, starting today in the Urban Suite, I'm going to do something a bit different. But wait, before I tell you what I'm going to do different, I got to read something else. What Joy Reid said, let's see. You all saw the clip about Joy Reid, and she pointed out that the anchor, Gwen Ifill, the journalist who broke barriers as a Black woman in the Washington press corps, yes, she did. I remember Gwen Ifill very well. She coined the term missing white women syndrome. So let's define what that is. It's pretty much the party goers putting out a search party for one of their own. That's what it is. A search party by and for the party goer. remember, you are the uninvited. So there is not going to be a search party for you. You're not valuable. There's not going to be one. There wasn't one in 2004. There wasn't one in 2000. There wasn't one in 1900. There wasn't one in 1868. There wasn't one in 1979. So do you actually think in 2021 that the search party for the party goers is going to be looking for the uninvited folks that are missing? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Like I said in the beginning, I shared with you Gwen Ifill. That was 17 years ago, and we're still talking about it. Joy Reid is just catching up to it 17 years later. But again, she's in the house with the party goers, but she's at the little card table eating her little crumbs or whatever you call it. Anyway, and all of this started with the woman, Petito, whatever her name is, her disappearance. But guess what? She's part of the party. So anyway, now this is interesting because where she was found and discovered, they're like, how many people? Oh, listen to this. The disappearances of people of color. Now, when they say people of color, that's not exclusive to Black people. Everybody's a person of color except for the European people. So you have people of color could be Asian. Okay. People of color could be Native Americans. People of color, of color. There's a hue about it, of color. Asian, Native Americans, Hispanics, and then you have Blacks. But everyone's upset when the Black people, the initially uninvited people, focus on themselves. So here, the disappearances of people of color tend not to generate the same volume of media interest, despite their occurring at a higher rate. A report from the University of Wyoming found that 710 indigenous people were reported missing. 710 were missing from 2011 to 2020 in that state. Wherever she was found, was Wyoming, someplace, which is where her remains were found. 57% of those were women, 85% were children. A study in 2016 of 4 national and local news outlets found that Black people were, quote unquote, significantly underrepresented in coverage of missing persons compared with their numbers in the FBI's tally of cases. Are we surprised? Are we shocked? But what are we doing about it? See, in my profession, I told you all last week, there are several models that I like to do, and one is solution focus. What is the solution to this? Is the solution to have another conference about this? I don't know. No. Is the solution to have another meeting or panel discussion about this? No, it's not. We've had panel discussions. We've had meetings to have meetings. We've done all of this. Let me tell you what one of these solutions can be. Now, we already have a group that's been in existence for 14 years, the Black and Missing Foundation. I have their website in the information. If you look, their website is there. You can go to their website. But also, this is what we can do, because this is what I'm going to do. And I said I'm going to do this even prior to all of this happening, because I do have a heart for people who are missing. Like I said, I'm a mother. I mean, I cannot imagine going to sleep at night knowing that one of my children or my niece, my nephews cannot be located. Like, I can't imagine. I remember last year when my cat went missing. It was like, I can't say it was overly traumatic, but it was. I had the whole gang out there. We posted flyers. I put stuff on Facebook, and she was found. But it was not very peaceful. It was very troubling. I cannot imagine as a mother having a child that cannot be located. Like, I can't. So anytime someone posts stuff on my personal page, I always share that information. So this is what I'm going to do. And I challenge you to help me in this. And I put the alarm out for other social influencers to put the alarm out also. At the end of my broadcast, I'm going to highlight someone that is missing. And I encourage you to give me information as well. But I'm going to put out someone that's missing, their first name, their last name, where they were when they were last missing, their height, just their demographic information, their gender. Yes, we use gender, male, female. Yes. Okay. Yes, because that's, can't use gender these days. But I'm going to do that. And I encourage other social media influencers who are part of the uninvited. If you have 10,000 followers, if you have 100,000 followers, if you have 900,000 followers, let's focus on something else besides yourself and gossip and selfies. Like, see, I look good. How many likes can I get? Oh, I look so good. I look, yes. Can we do that as a community? Because Joy Reid, you have about 475,000 followers on your Instagram. You can post some missing Black children, missing Black women and men on your Instagram every now and then, and ask your followers to share. You can do that. People who have huge and large followings, you can do that. But then you know what? With the uninvited, they may be like, well, that doesn't fall in line with my platform. Well, you know what? If your child went missing, I'm sure you would want someone to do the same thing for you. I'm almost certain. But that's what needs to be done. We can no longer rely on those party goers who are in control of the media. We have our own village. We have our own tribe. But it's up to you, my urbanites. It's up to you to share. It's up to you. I don't care if you watch the video or not. Just share it. Because at the end of my live, not the breaking news, because that's on the spot. I don't know what I'm doing. Something happens, I'm like, boom. But 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm always going to have, from this point forward, someone who is missing, and I need your help. People, my people in Jamaica, the same goes for you. I know that there's some missing and exploited children on that island. Send me their pictures. Send me their description so that I can post it and share it, so that your friends can share, so that your family can share. And that's how people are found, through social media. Let's use social media to benefit our village. Let's use social media to benefit our tribe. Let's use social media to do what it is there for. We no longer, because of who we are and the influencing that we have, we no longer have to fully rely on party goers, in a sense, because the party goers, actually, they do own the platforms, except for one, Dr. Boyce Watkins. He has a platform, and we need to start to join his platform is like Facebook. I am a member. I was active. I'm not as active as I need to be, but I'm going to become more active. But that's what we need to do. That's what we need to do. And that's what I'm going to do starting today. Starting today, I'm no longer going to expect the party goers to value the uninvited. I already knew that. And sometimes I'm thinking okay, uninvited folks, what's happening? I feel like scratching my head and pulling out my hair, the little bit of hair that I do have, come on. We have resources within our own community. We don't have to rely on the party goers' resources. We have our own resources. We need to tap into it, take advantage of it, and find our children, find our mothers, our uncles, find those that we care about and not rely on the party goers' media. Because remember, we were never invited to the party. And I believe we will never be invited to the party. And until we get that in our, I want to say thick skull, but until we get that into our mind and into our heart, we will never succeed. This is a quote that someone wrote. His name is Mr. Darrell Cromwell. This is a powerful quote that I'm going to share with you. It says, "You spent so much time trying to be accepted that you didn't realize you rejected yourself." We spend so much time trying to be accepted by the partygoers that we rejected ourselves, in my opinion. That's powerful. And guess what? As a group of people, we can no longer reject ourselves. And then when this happens, hey, my thing is, we no longer have media outlets that we own. So if you don't own anything, you cannot control the narrative. Let me repeat that. If you don't own anything, you cannot control the narrative. The only thing that you can do in your limited power is have a meeting, have a panel discussion, protest, and riot. And then 17 years will go by and we're still confronted with the same thing. Aren't I sick and tired of the same rodeo dance? I know I am. So that's why I am doing this on my platform. I've only had officially this platform for 4 months? But my thing is to make a difference and not only be focused on me, not only be focused on gossip, but to be focused on how can we help the urban community? How can we help the uninvited? How? This is my way of doing that. So with that said, I want to highlight someone. This is Daniel Robinson. So as investigators work towards identifying the cause of death for 22-year-old Gabby Petito, fresh appeals are being made to locate missing 24-year-old Daniel Robinson. Have you seen Daniel Robinson? I need you all, my urbanites, please share this. Share this amongst your friends, amongst your families, because his family is in need of answers. Robinson, a geologist from Columbia, South Carolina, was last seen leaving a job site in the Arizona desert, 50 miles southwest of Phoenix, on June 23rd. He was reported missing later that day and has not been seen or heard from since. The 24-year-old had not told anyone where he was going or why he was leaving, and was not like himself at times in the days leading to his disappearance. The Buckeye Police Department said in a statement released in July, adding that there was no indication that he wished to harm himself or leave the area. According to police, Robinson was last seen driving his 2017 Jeep Renegade heading west further into the desert area of Sun Valley Parkway, just north of Cactus Road in Buckeye. And this is in Arizona, 50 miles southwest of Phoenix, Arizona. They actually found his Jeep, and what they found, it was not comforting. The Jeep was turned over, broken windows. It looked like someone had bashed the windows in. It looked like it was caught on fire. It's just not good. It's not good at all. So this is Daniel. If you have seen people in Phoenix, Arizona, in that area, if you have seen him, if you know anything about where Daniel is, please contact the local authorities. Let's bring Daniel home so his family can have peace. And oftentimes he's been gone this long. It does not look too good, but we're being hopeful. We're praying for his family. We're praying for Daniel. So again, my urbanites, starting today, I am going to have pictures of those that are missing so that they can be reunited with their loved ones, however way they are found. And I pray that you share this information with your friends, with your family, so that we can start to look out for our own. I also pray that those who have a large social media presence, social influencers, that you use your influence for good and not just focus on selfies, not just focused on gossip talk, and then get upset or bewildered and surprised when mainstream media doesn't focus on the uninvited. So anyway, you have entered into the Urban Suite. I am Dr. Lisa LaCON. I'm going to keep up Daniel's picture for a little longer so you can see who he is. I need you to like. I need you to share. I don't even care if you subscribe or not. I just really want you to share. I really do. So that his family can have peace. And again, starting today, next Tuesday, I'm going to have someone else. And I hope that the Joy reads, those that have 100,000, 10,000 followers will do the same. So until next time, our urbanites, God bless you. Have a wonderful week. And unfortunately, I know that I will be able to, unfortunately, put another missing person face up, because we are missing in droves. And we have to start to take care of our own, because no one else is doing it. We have the platform, we have the resources, we have the time. So think about it and then do it. God bless you all. Have a wonderful night. Bye.